Every time a major earthquake makes the headlines, you hear reports like a magnitude 7 earthquake, or even a magnitude 8 earthquake. But what if I told you that's not the whole story? Contrary to popular belief, the Richter scale isn't actually used to measure the world's most powerful earthquakes. It's mainly designed for smaller ones, typically up to around magnitude 5.5. For larger earthquakes, scientists use a far more accurate system, the moment magnitude scale. Introduced in 1977 by Japanese seismologist Hiru Kanamori and American seismologist Thomas Hanks, it has become the global standard for measuring the strongest earthquakes on Earth. But here's the real question: what if our planet was hit by a magnitude 10 earthquake? Would humanity survive? Could entire continents be affected? And just how powerful would such an event be? I'm Salem, and you're watching the channel Away from Brain Rot. If you're new here, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss our future videos. Now, let's find out. Before we talk about what would actually happen if a disaster like this struck our planet, there's something we need to understand first. Some people might ask, what if a magnitude 10 earthquake happened here or somewhere else? How devastating would it be? According to mathematical models based on the Earth's structure, its dimensions, and the size of its tectonic plates, a magnitude 10 earthquake has virtually no chance of occurring anywhere except one place on Earth. That place is the subduction zones surrounding the Pacific Ocean, home to the famous Ring of Fire. This region is responsible for nearly 90% of all earthquakes recorded around the world. But when it comes to the truly massive earthquakes, those exceeding magnitude 8.5, you could almost say the number is 100%. That's because of the enormous size and unique movement of the tectonic plates in this region. There's another important factor you need to know. On the earthquake magnitude scale, each increase of just one full magnitude represents roughly 32 times more energy than the previous one. In other words, a magnitude 6 earthquake is about 32 times more powerful than a magnitude 5. Now imagine what happens when we reach magnitude 10. That's why no one should be surprised by the unimaginable level of destruction in the scenario we're about to explore. And to put that into perspective, even the strongest earthquake ever recorded in history, the 1960 Valdivia earthquake in Chile, measured 9.5 on the moment magnitude scale. So don't focus on the difference of just half a magnitude, focus on what it really means. A magnitude 10 earthquake would release about 16 times more energy than the most powerful earthquake humanity has ever recorded. In the very first moments of the earthquake, the rupture within the subduction zone would unleash an unimaginable amount of energy, equivalent to the explosion of nearly 15,000 megatons of TNT. Or, to put it another way, it would release roughly the same amount of energy as 1 million Hiroshima atomic bombs. Now, imagine the earthquake's epicenter was deep beneath the Pacific Ocean, at a certain depth, around 200 kilometers away from the nearest city. By the time the seismic waves reached the coast, some of their energy would have weakened, but unfortunately, not nearly enough to spare the city. There isn't a single city on Earth, no matter how advanced or how earthquake-resistant its buildings are, that could withstand shaking of this magnitude. Buildings, roads, bridges, power plants, and critical infrastructure would collapse within moments. Some wooden buildings, and even large trees. could be ripped from their foundations and thrown into the air by the violent upward motion of the ground. And that's not even counting the fires, electrical failures, lightning strikes, explosions, and countless secondary disasters triggered by the destruction. Just 30 seconds to 1 minute after the earthquake begins, its massive seismic waves would already be affecting cities and regions far beyond the areas closest to the epicenter. The enormous stress placed on the Earth's crust could trigger additional earthquakes and even awaken new volcanoes, hundreds or even thousands of kilometers away from the original rupture. Depending on the strength of each country's infrastructure, some of those regions could suffer devastation comparable to the areas nearest the epicenter, but according to theoretical calculations, there wouldn't be a single square meter of Earth's surface completely untouched by the shaking. Scientists estimate that even the weakest tremors recorded on the opposite side of the planet could still reach around magnitude 3.5. Fortunately, at those distances, the shaking would be so weak that many people wouldn't even notice it, but the earthquakes themselves wouldn't be the greatest threat. Within the first hour, or perhaps even sooner, gigantic tsunamis would crash into every coastline surrounding the epicenter. These enormous waves would act like nature's final blow, sweeping away anything the earthquake had left standing. Structures that somehow survived the shaking would almost certainly be destroyed by the incoming tsunami. Within only a few hours, global shipping routes and international trade would be thrown into chaos. Major ports near the epicenter would be devastated. And after several more hours, the tsunami could reach coastlines across the entire Pacific Ocean. The economic losses would climb into the trillions of dollars, not only because of the destruction itself, but because a significant portion of global trade would grind to a complete halt. Before we finish, there's one important thing to remember. Everything we've discussed is purely a theoretical scenario. Based on everything scientists know today, an earthquake stronger than about magnitude 9.8 is considered virtually impossible. The Earth's tectonic plates simply aren't large enough to generate a true magnitude 10 earthquake. The only theoretical exception would be the impact of a massive asteroid or another large celestial object, powerful enough to fracture the Earth's crust on a scale far beyond what tectonic plates can produce. And that's it for today's journey. If you've made it all the way to the end, you're the real legends. Be sure to leave a like before you go. It lets us know how many of you stayed until the very end. And if there's a question that's ever crossed your mind, leave it in the comments below. Many of the videos we make are inspired directly by your ideas. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.